Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you are. I'm Gina Petty. I'm the Executive Director of the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation. And welcome to our webinar that we are thrilled to do in partnership with Citizen CPR Foundation. We'll get to introductions in just one second. Really, we wanted to just go through and provide you with some more information on the video contest that we're offering this year for the 2025 Cardiac Arrest Survival Video Contest. I'm really excited to have this be an opportunity and to see all of the great creativity that people bring to this awareness initiative. So this is what we're going to go over today. We'll do some brief introductions, talk about the contest, why it's important, go through the details and the logistics, introduce our special guest, Hannah from HeartCharged, and really give you some tips and some strategies for getting started. And we also have Janet Smith here to give some additional expertise for putting together your video. And then we'll kind of wrap up with some Q&A and hope everybody leaves here today feeling informed and excited about putting together your video for the contest. And if you are here to kind of gather information, we certainly appreciate you being able to share this opportunity with your networks as well, so that we get a lot of interest in everyone's participation. So just to get us started, I'm Gina Petty. I'm the Executive Director of the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation, and so we are really focused on raising awareness about sudden cardiac arrest, advancing training and CPR and AED awareness in communities, and also supporting those who have been affected by sudden cardiac arrest. I will pass it off to my colleague Sandra from Citizen CPR Foundation.
So, Gina, do you want me to spend a few moments talking about the Citizen CPR Foundation at this point and about the summit,
Sure.
rather?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
great.
I'll jump right in. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm Sandra Clark. I know some of you, not all, and I look forward to meeting you all at the summit. I have been involved with the Citizen CPR Foundation. I have a position called the Associate Director. I've been involved going back for over 20 years with the foundation. I am, and I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about the summit. So the Citizen CPR Foundation was actually started in the 80s to be a home for and host the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation, which was formerly known as ECCU, or Emergency Cardiovascular Update Conference. And originally, the big part of it was the conference where people came to learn about the new guidelines, where the rubber hits the road, in the sense that the guideline science would come out, and then at the conference, they would learn how to implement the guidelines across all aspects of the chain of survival. It started 45 years ago, and the conference is now called Cardiac Arrest Survival Summit. We're excited this year. Once again, the AHA is going to be presenting. They're bringing all of their guideline writers to talk about the science, to talk about the new guidelines, science behind the changes, and you'll have the first hand opportunity, registrants will, to talk to them and ask them questions about implementation and so on. The original founding partners for the Citizen CPR Foundation were the American Red Cross, American Heart Association, and the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Canada, and they've stayed very involved with the foundation ever since in terms of support. This year, with the summit, we're excited to say that we have a record-breaking level of submissions. So we have our call for presentations, and we had several hundred submissions, which was more than we have ever seen in the past. We have over 100 concurrent sessions. We have plenary sessions where we'll have the guideline writers from the AHA, we'll have the Scientific Advisory Committee of the American Red Cross, and then we'll have other leaders in the field with really innovative presentations in terms of general sessions. In terms of the concurrence, we have over 200 speakers, and it's going to be jam-packed with education and innovation across 7 tracks. And those tracks, they span the chain of survival. So we have a track that's dedicated to EMS, a track dedicated to in-hospital personnel and health providers. We have a track dedicated to resuscitation education. We have a track dedicated to survivorship and community innovations. We have a special population track And for the first time, some of you would know Dr. John Dressner, who is really a leader in the field of sudden cardiac arrest in the young and athletes. So he and Dr. Stu Berger, chair of the Citizen CPR Foundation, have designed a new track for the first time, sudden cardiac arrest in youth and athletes. Innovations we've made today, progress, and what are the barriers, and how do we move forward? So that track in and of itself is going to be almost 2 days, and we have over 25 presenters that Dr. Dresner and Dr. Berger are bringing together. So that's going to be really exciting too. It's going to be a great conference, and we're going to share with you a link, and we hope to see you all there. What I want to say is, people come to the conference, in terms of the evaluation, they say the education and the networking. And the people that come to the conference are so passionate about moving the needle in terms of sudden cardiac arrest, whether they are instructors, whether they are survivors, whether they are in hospital, pre-hospital, and so on. That's one huge commonality. So your videos are so appreciated by them, and many of them want copies afterwards so they can use them in their own arena when they go back home and use them to inspire their populations. So we're really excited to be speaking to you. We love the video contest. We love working with the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation, who we have on this and other things for many years. And I'm going to stop now. Hope to see you at the conference, but also the level of the videos. Winners last year, winners every year, but quite frankly, all of the videos are so incredibly inspirational and action-oriented in terms of getting people to think, hey, maybe I should learn about this. So thank you for everything that you do.
Thanks
Gina,
so
back to
much.
you.
Thank you. All right, Hannah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Hannah Kime. I am a content creator, filmmaker. I'm a cardiac patient, a self-proclaimed bionic babe, because I have an implanted defibrillator, which saved my life when I went into sudden cardiac arrest in my sleep at the age of 17. So I'm a sudden cardiac arrest survivor as well. I co-founded an organization and really much a community. We're very big online, so we'd hope that you follow us at HeartCharged on Instagram with my sister, because we have the same genetic cardiomyopathy, which is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy or HCM. And actually, she will be very excited. We'll be at the CAST Summit this year, and we'll be presenting something. So that's very exciting for us, because we kind of like double team it, like why I'm on the call, because I do more of the video stuff. But our mission at HeartCharged is to end preventable deaths from sudden cardiac arrest and undiagnosed heart conditions, and to provide patient-to-patient support to heart patients and survivors. And we very much are, appalled by the statistics of sudden cardiac arrest or sudden cardiac death. And we try to combat it in numerous ways and kind of use our creativity to get people, talking and getting the awareness, whether that's, we're about to harp on a campaign for publicly accessible AEDs. But we do everything from, we have a campaign that we did on women being less likely to survive sudden cardiac arrest because of the lack of bystander CPR and AED. So we have a campaign that we called Flash the Boobs to Save a Life, and various content on that. And then the video that we'll see that we won for the last summit, we very much focus on unleashing the next generation of lifesavers, and very big on teaching kids, as little as 4 years old, of what to do in a cardiac emergency, because they can play a vital part, whether that's just running and grabbing the AED, but using that to be able to get our mission across and getting more people concerned about sudden cardiac arrest.
Great. Thanks so much for being with us today, Hannah. And Janet.
Good morning or afternoon. My name is Janet Smith, and I am a former paramedic and an EMS consultant for new business development and injury and illness prevention for the last 35 years. So I am very close to, I have a really close affection for anybody who learns CPR as a bystander, as an EMS provider, or a grandma or grandpa that wants to make sure that they're there for their spouse. I'm currently producing a television series for kids called I'm Good, and I just reviewed one of the animatics that came through on our episode of helping somebody who's choking. So it's kind of a labor of love for me to be here today, and it just brings back the videos that we've made for ambulance companies and ambulance associations over the years. So thanks so much for having me. I hope that I have something to provide for you guys.
Great, thank you so much. And I just wanted to also add that, at the Sun Cardiac Arrest Foundation, we're thrilled to be able to attend the summit and participate. We'll also be doing a couple of presentations and we'll be an exhibitor. And this is where the summit is where this award is presented as well. So really looking forward to cast this year. So let's dive in a little bit to the contest. So why does this matter? I put some statistics here that I'm sure that everyone is already very much aware of. As Hannah said, appalling statistics and statistics that we collectively are working to change together and to improve the survival rate. But really, just the importance of raising public awareness of this problem as sudden cardiac arrest being a public health issue, and the fact that bystander CPR can double or triple a person's survival rate, knowing that currently the survival rate is no more than 10%. So really working to change that and thinking about how we can reach more people to let them know about our messages of preparedness and knowing what to do in the case of an emergency, and learning CPR and knowing how to use an AED. And so together, raising awareness through these videos is something that can really help to move the needle. So uh, just uh, just to preface it with that. And so the contest, and we do have a contest landing page on our website, so we'll be happy to circulate that link. So no worries about memorizing any of this. We'll share all of this after the call too. But as you know, the contest is jointly hosted by Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation and Citizen CPR Foundation. And so this award will be given at the CAS Summit. And really, it's focused on raising awareness about sudden cardiac arrest and the importance of quick action to call 911, provide CPR, and use an AED. And so the videos are submitted, and then they are reviewed, scored, and ranked. And so then we will award, the finalists, and then the top winner will receive the first place and get an AED. And so entries are due October 20th. And so we're going to go through the process of how to submit your video here. But so pretty much all of the submissions are done on YouTube. So if you don't have a YouTube account, you can create one for free. And then we're asking you to upload your video onto your YouTube account. And then there's a form that's on the landing page that you fill out, and that's where you provide us the link to your YouTube video. And so then we in turn collect all of those videos that have been submitted. We put them on a private playlist, and then that's what we utilize and we refer to when we're judging the video submission. So there's one playlist that they all get put on, and then that's what we use to evaluate. And then after the summit, they'll be public, like we'll make the playlist public so that everyone can easily go and see all of the finalists and the submissions. And so, as we said, the grand prize winner receives an AED. So the contest rules, it has to be no more than 90 seconds. So they have to be short, and the file size has to be less than 500 megabytes or less, and accepts any of these formats. So pretty much as long as you can upload it to YouTube, that YouTube takes various formats. So as long as you can get us a YouTube link, you should be all set there. So now I would like to just share Hannah's and HeartCharged video from 2023 to give you an idea of, and maybe some of you have seen it, but I'm just going to play it. It's 90 seconds, so just bear with me as long as the sound works. Just let me know if you can't hear it for some reason, but I'm going to play it now and we'll talk about it in a second.
Ready Ready to be empowered to act in a cardiac emergency and learn what saved my life?
Yes.
Beauty, mate. I'm ready to teach you.
Just call for help, start CPR and use an AED. Just call for help, start CPR and use an AED. And someone not responding or breathing, come to us to give the help that they're needing. Just call for help, start CPR and use an AED. These three links in the chain of survival. What we use when someone needs revival. If someone's not responding and their breathing has stopped, then call, push, shot.
Great training, mates. By doing any of these steps, you can help save a life. Now, what do we need the rest of the world to do to be safer?
Get her.
So good. Congratulations, Hannah. This is such an awesome video. I'm sure that many people agree, and we're going to talk about it in a second when we get to our dialogue with you. But as you can see, this was a very creative video, obviously, and I just wanted to kind of touch on quickly the key criteria that are utilized when by the panel of judges. And so the judging happens by a panel from both of our foundations, SCAF and Citizen CPR Foundation. So it's a rubric type of evaluation, and so it's really looking at these four core areas. So the first being creativity and originality. So the top, the top uppermost scores will be highly creative, very innovative in how it communicates. And so, like thinking about the video that we just saw, super creative, right? And very catchy. Engagement. So videos that will receive the highest scores will have, will be very engaging, have a high likelihood of holding the audience's attention and piques their interest and gets them interested in the topic, right? So getting people interested in learning more about CPR. Awareness potential, so thinking about the ability for the video to reach a wide range of audiences. So in the video that Hannah's team did, there's children, there's adults in it, and there's a wide range of people participating. So so good awareness potential there. And then the content, really being educationally sound. So as you saw, they were performing, call, push, shock, and following the correct, compressions and all of that. So, so I think, I was not surprised to see that this video was the winner because it's really creative and really catchy, and in preparation of this session, I was watching it, and my daughter, like, she's 10 and she like goes around like humming it and singing it all the time. So like so it's definitely sticks with you, so so as I mentioned, that once you upload your form and have shared with us the YouTube link, it will go on our private playlist. And then afterwards, it will become public and we'll share them out. We'll announce the winner, on our news site and our newsletter and everything. And so the videos will be made available for the finalists as well, so that we can share those out and link to them as well. So without further ado, I would love to talk with Hannah about the video and just kind of, learn a little bit more about your background, your approach, and any kind of thoughts that you can give us about how you went about, creating this video, and to inspire people to think about how they can put together something. So we'll just kind of keep it conversational, but Hannah, do you want to kind of start and just kind of share us, like, how did you come up with your idea for the video?
Yeah, I mean, so funny when you're saying like, oh no, surprise. We were surprised we won. We did not think we were gonna win. We did it 2 years before and we didn't even place. So, and I still really like the video we did. So we were just like, hey, it's coming up again, and we're like, do we want to submit again? So I want to come this is sometimes like I didn't do this the first time and win. It's really just about like if you make something good, I think it also doesn't matter whether you win or not. We ended up, when we won the AD, we actually gave it to a family who was in need of an AD because their child was at risk of sudden cardiac due to a cardiomyopathy. So it was beautiful to be able to get that and like pay it forward in a way. But we were kind of going to make a video whether or not we had this, but it's always nice sometimes to have a deadline or a contest to kind of put pressure on you to make something and, within a time limit. But we were like, okay, our dear friend Greg Page, who is the older Australian man in the video, who's one of the original Yellow Wiggle from the kids, the Wiggles. That's why that song is good and catchy for kids, because he's an expert at doing that. And he's a sudden cardiac arrest survivor, and we've collaborated with him before. And so we approached him and said, hey, we're doing this, and I think he was going to come talk at this summit. We're like, hey, let's collab on this other video and use one of his songs, because he kind of has an EP of a bunch of songs focused on call, push, shock, and all of the chains of survival. So we decided to use that song. And then obviously, I think most people on this call will know the Brady Bunch. That was kind of the inspiration with the blue screens and the little kids, and that kind of worked with what it was. So we were like, hey, how do we again focus on unleashing the next generation of lifesavers, and getting something that kids can watch, that's family friendly, that everyone can watch and kind of learn the simple steps. And because the song is catchy, right, it kind of stays with you. Or, oh yeah, call, push, shock. Okay, hey, here's the proper hand placement here. It is kind of hard because it is 90 seconds to get it. But that's kind of how we were kind of, inspired to kind of come up with this idea originally. And then as we were planning it, things kind of evolved, or shoot day kind of goes a little bit differently. So then when I'm editing it, I'm changing some things up. But it was kind of generally the idea of a bunch of different kids doing the steps and kind of making it a fun video for people to watch and learn the chains of survival in an easy way.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. So what did you learn from the process of putting together the video for the contest? What were your kind of takeaways and learnings?
I mean, it's always a learning process. Anything I, make. It was interesting because we had a lot more people, and so obviously like coordinating things, that's always a little bit more tricky. Is like making sure like, hey, can everybody show up here at this location? Right. And because we did like green screen stuff, that also of like, hey, next time we can, if we had more money, because this was very low budget production, like, oh, better lighting or different things that came up during it. But I think especially because it's again like the 90 seconds, of course we couldn't do the whole song. So that definitely, I think the biggest learning for everyone is how important sometimes that prep is. It's called like pre-production, in film and television world. And sometimes really, if you can plan it out, not saying everything's going to go accordingly, but that prep is so important for things, because then you can run into less problems on the shoot day. If you have that specific day, if you're working with more people, there's a lot of I think people don't give enough credit to prep time. Sometimes people just think like, hey, we can just show up and shoot. Yeah, but it's a lot easier if you put in the time to prep and to plan and to even test shoot and do things, so everything can kind of run as smoothly as it can be.
Yeah. Don't want to wing it, right? When you're ready to film.
Right.
So for someone that might decide to enter, so there are folks here that I think have expressed that they're interested in entering, or that they're maybe gathering information. They're still kind of deciding. So what would you suggest to the folks on this call and that will listen to this session for how to get started? Like, what would you kind of guide them to how to do that?
I mean, definitely do it. It's, pretty simple process, but I think the first thing with any idea is figure out exactly what you want to convey in the video. Take that time to think, because 90 seconds is a short time, so really only have time for one strong message. I know sometimes it gets so hard in the awareness space because there's just so much things we could tell people, but it's like, okay, what's the one thing, right? Do we want to focus on hands only right now, AD, or do we want to focus on all of them but in a simpler way? So knowing that for sure what you exactly want to convey is a good starting point. And then also within that, like, okay, what's the age group we're trying to focusing? Are these for professionals or is this for everyday people? So then once you know your audience, that can kind of also help you of how you're going to approach the, content, the video. And then I mean, a lot of good deal of content on Sun CardiAc is directed at everyday people. And a lot of our content we do is, which again, if you want to look at our other content, also you can message us or email us too. I like to collaborate on stuff as a filmmaker. That's just kind of at the heart of it. So I'm not here to like gatekeep anything. I hope I can help you guys and make good content and make things that you're proud of. And then obviously then deciding on like, what's the mood of the video, right? Is it like a serious, dramatic thing where it's like really heart-wrenching with statistics, or is it humorous? Is it shocking, inspirational, whatever? Those are kind of the basic things of, okay, what's my message? Who's my audience? What's like the tone or the mood of it? And thinking, all throughout your process of then once you get that, then it's kind of figuring out, okay, how can I make this happen? What resources do I already have, or do I know a friend that has this location? Or that's really where it starts out of like, hey, who do I know, what can I make happen? Because I like to consider myself a resourceful independent filmmaker, because it's like, what costumes do I have at my house? Or hey, what cheap thing can I buy on Amazon? Maybe you can even return it after you film it if you're really like low on cash. Is like, hey, what kind of money are you going to put into this? That will also help you think, hey, maybe I can't go crazy right now for this idea, but how could I maybe simplify it so that, hey, if I'm the one-man crew who's also acting in it, what's going to be easiest for me to do? So that also will then help you kind of not make it seem so overwhelming when you can kind of like get those simple things out and then kind of start thinking of how you want to make it happen.
Yeah. No, that's great because I think that you've raised some great tips thinking about the importance of collaboration, right? And connecting with other people, and also the budget friendly components, right? Because I think that that's something that we want to impart on everyone, that like we don't expect, nor do we want you to go out and spend tons of money to make a video for this contest, right? That we want to people to feel comfortable that you can make a video, that's very high quality using, your own creativity and like materials that you might already have, and so like the expectation is not that you go out and hire a production company and, and submit a video that way. So we're really wanting to make this like feel manageable and doable for everyone. And Hannah, did you have any last thoughts on like anything else that you wanted to add on like scripting or production or any other tips like that? I think you've touched on a lot of them already, but
Yeah, I would just say with the next question, I would just add like, use the best equipment you can. Like, doesn't mean you need to go buy, but if you're like, hey, this one is the better iPhone. Like, most of my content is shot on my iPhone 13. So, like, go look, like, use what you have. I think this one we filmed some of it on like a vlog camera we had like a year before that we're like, okay, we'll just shoot it. That looks a little bit better, quality on here to shoot this. Okay, we already had a green screen. I pay for Adobe Premiere because that's the editing software I use, but I also use the free CapCut, version of it. So I think like, hey, use what best you can, but right, like if you don't have the money, we don't want you to think, because I think you can make things at way lower cost than you think. I think sometimes it's too much in this day and age where people are like, it has to look such high production value because is anybody going to pay attention to this? But sometimes it's like the message that comes across is really what hits people. So we pretty much made that video with no we had everything that we used there. And like even the volunteers, half of them were related to us. So we were like, hey, can we borrow, our niece and nephews, like, to come shoot it? And those kids we knew from church too. And we're like, hey. And then some of the older kids were like, we'll give you community service hours, and we have like snacks for you to kind of like win you over to come do this random video with us, So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I think all of that is just such wise advice. Thank you. Janet, did you have anything that you wanted to add? I know you do a lot of video production and are creative as well, so would love to hear any additional thoughts that you have.
Well, I just so enjoyed watching Hannah's video because it really touches on the objectives of your ask for the call 911, do CPR, and have access to an AED, and if you do, use it. So she got that across so perfectly, and it really was relatable to a wide range of ages. So I thought she did just an amazing job, and her advice is right on the money. The only thing that I would add is that often a CPR video is part of a campaign. It's a tactic in an overall campaign. And this is one of those non-dangerous kinds of ventures to propose to others for collaboration and to maybe make it part of a bigger campaign. And that also brings in some sponsorship dollars to help your budget for pre-production and production and editing itself. So I would just ask your audience here to consider making the video part of a bigger campaign and to really look at if your mission is to do some inspiration, some instruction, and to build awareness. If those three things are kind of in tandem, then I would look towards partnering with a public safety agency, fire department, an ambulance company, private ambulance company, and even police, because police are often the very first to arrive at a medical emergency or a cardiac arrest. And all of those groups look for awareness building, not only for the profession, because we're all looking for more public safety providers out there, but also with hospitals and nursing and that whole group. So collaboration, I think, could be key to a great video. Also, I loved what she was saying about knowing who you're going to talk to. If you're going to be talking to millennials and the Gen Xers and that group, they're very comfortable with the vertical format up from the telephone. And so as long as you're using your telephone and you're using it in a purposeful way, so it's not an accident, but you're seeing that vertical image and that's how you're communicating, that age group is really comfortable with that vertical format. So it doesn't have to be expensive. Also, the engagement piece is, where are people going to see your video and how are they going to see it? And bringing back to that collaboration, the more the merrier, because that just amplifies the message throughout all the partners that you have in your collaborative group. The other piece is make sure it's correct. There's nothing more discouraging than to go through this whole production and then come up with something that isn't correct. You're not showing the technique correctly or the count or the placement of the hands. I mean, it's amazing how you'll even just post something on Facebook and 100 people all of a sudden have chimed in. So you want to make sure that the message, if you're instructing at all, that instruction is really clear. And I'm looking forward to questions.
Great, thank you, Janet. So there's a couple of questions in the chat box too that I will just touch on. When and where is the summit? So the summit is December 3rd through 6th in Phoenix, Arizona. Sandra, would you be able to stick a link in the chat box? If I do it, it's gonna stop sharing my screen and if you don't mind, and that way that website will have all of the details and you can see the agenda and the accommodations and all of the information.
So I already did, actually,
Oh,
Gina.
thank you.
So
Okay,
thanks for bringing that
perfect.
up. I
Oh,
also,
sorry.
yeah, so to Gina's point, the agenda is there, all the information you need, as well as if you go to the recognition tab, you'll see not only the winners of 2023, but the winners and maybe even runners up, but from multiple previous conferences as well, with the video contests.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then there's another question about the size of the video. Does it have to be 16 by 9 or can it be 9 by 16? I don't know if it works on YouTube. I think it doesn't matter what size to us, but I think it just needs to be able to be uploaded to YouTube.
You can upload both of those
Okay.
aspect ratios on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to just jump in here about the conference dates. December 3 to 6 starts Wednesday at 5 o'clock through Saturday. And they're pre-conference workshops, and there's really excellent pre-conference workshops as well on the 3rd and the Wednesday and the 3rd. So it's actually the 4th to the 6th, Wednesday to Friday. And the 3rd and the 4th during the daytime are pre-conference workshops. And you'll see that on the site when you go to it. And it's in Phoenix at the Arizona Grand hotel and spa, suites and spas, and they gave us a great deal on the rooms. And the only thing offered are suites. It comes with the discounted price, so it's a really nice setting.
It looks beautiful. I mean, this is my first summit as well. So I just joined the foundation, the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation, back in the fall, and so I am looking forward to meeting many of you on site there, and really looking forward to the summit myself. So. I'd love to open it up for any additional questions. And, we're a small enough group that if you would prefer to unmute and ask any questions that you have about the logistics or a question of Hannah or Janet, I'm happy to take a few minutes to do that now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hi, Nils here. My question is about the point of the video. Is it about more so like raising awareness in the sense of like, hey, this is how you help with sudden cardiac arrest, or can it be more of like a storytelling? For example, like I have a really interesting story when it comes to my sudden cardiac arrest. I'm 25 years old. It happened on the soccer field. Um, and so I was wondering to see is like if I take an approach of more like telling my story while kind of alluding in the fact of, hey, I'm only alive because of AEDs and, people like did stuff super quickly, or does it have to be like, hey, here's a tutorial on how to give CPR
No.
or whatever?
No, I'm going to jump in here. It doesn't have to be like a tutorial or a teaching of CPR. From what you're describing, that could be really powerful. And then it's helpful if you have the message about the importance of CPR, because
Mhm.
you want to see it within the context of if this was shown to the public, for example, or to a
Yeah.
greater audience, what kind of impact, how action oriented is it? So, a story like yours could be extremely inspirational. And then with the push to, learn CPR, you can save a life, kind of thing.
Yeah, right. And one more follow-up question, if that's all right. So as far as like the judging for the actual videos themselves, when will like what day of the conference will that be either revealed or whatnot? Because I may have a conflict, so if I can just fly in for one day and it just happens to be that day, I just want to know if
So typically we will confirm with you, but typically it is on the Saturday at
Okay.
the Saturday morning.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Shelley, would you like to elaborate a little bit on your question? I'm not sure that I'm clear on.
Question. So, sorry, can I ask just one question? Because in fact, I sent video for the contest, but I'm not so sure now that it's in accordance what you are looking for, because I shared a lot of personal videos and information on the story of my son who survived cardiac arrest, and he was only 4 years old, and 25 minutes cardiac arrest. So I didn't show anything about CPR. I just made more like music and text and his videos, and he survived. And for me, it's a personal story, but I thought I didn't know that I have to show how to make CPR and so on. And
No, you don't.
it's not my profession. I'm just a mom, even if I did CPR for my son.
It doesn't, you don't have to teach, you don't have to show how to do CPR in it. It is to promote awareness about sudden
Exactly.
cardiac arrest.
Exactly. I wanted to promote awareness that it could happen even with a child.
Yes.
Sharing
Yeah,
my story and exactly the story of my son.
that's
We
right. And the
must have
difference.
survived.
Yeah,
But
and the difference
very
that CPR
important
can make.
to
Yeah.
show in mostly I passed a message in text because English is not my native
Yeah, that's
language.
fine.
I
That's fine.
felt more comfortable to write
Yeah.
than to
Yeah.
speak, and with music.
Yeah.
And because I'm sorry, I'm in France, for example, here in France, we even don't have a foundation for sudden cardiac arrest survivors,
Mhm.
if you know,
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
very social
Right.
scene here
Yeah.
in France. It's all centralized and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm participating a lot with the foreign sudden cardiac arrest foundations and so on. And except that, we don't have a lot of children who survived. So I didn't find anything else in my country, for example, to support. I even didn't find any other survivors with French children
Wow.
survivors, for example,
Oh,
in 10 years.
yeah.
Because there is no central information, there is no sharing. It's very medical
Mm.
in France. So, for example, the doctors, they don't have rights to share. And in fact, because we don't have, like you have some cardiac foundation where people can come and to share and
Yeah.
can contact somebody. I found only in adults and only private groups in Facebooks or something
Yeah.
like this, but only adults.
So we have a number of people that come from France to the conference, and I'm thinking what we should do is look into if we're aware of any groups
Children.
that you might be interested in.
Yeah,
We'll
for
do
me, it
that.
will be very interested, yes, of course,
Yes.
because speaking in French, for example, for me, it's much more easier than
Sure.
in
Oh, for
English.
sure.
And
Yeah.
that's why I'm a little bit shy. And of course, I can't just even make to speak my child because he speaks only French.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's
Oh,
okay if it's very personal. It's not to
oh,
be
yes.
like about. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Gina, do you have to add to that?
I was just gonna say, like, I think if you go and watch some of the other
Yeah.
videos too, you'll see there's such a wide variety of the submissions. None are the same, which is awesome. But I think just if you want to take a look at some of the other videos just to see like the wide variety of submissions, and they're all great, so feel welcome to review some of those and just kind of see that there's a lot of room for telling your story, making it personalized, and having the latitude to share creatively as
You
you.
have to have a quality like Hannah also to make a films. I'm not filmmaker. I'm
That's
just
okay.
mom.
You don't need you
So
you don't
I
need to
didn't
be a filmmaker.
make like I could.
And that's
No,
Yes, it's
okay.
also quality.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, that's okay.
yeah, and just to reiterate, it's about creating awareness about sudden cardiac arrest because most people don't think about it. They don't think about it happening. Creating awareness and the importance of immediate action, of someone jumping in and doing something quickly. CPR, calling for an AED, whatever, but calling 911. But you don't have to actually show the technique. It's more to get people, you can do it in different ways. Some is using the technique, but a very powerful story, and where the text message is about this can happen, and be prepared.
Exactly. It's
No
mine
CPR.
is like my message. It can happen
Yeah,
even with
yeah,
a child.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
And take a look at the
So,
chat. There's a couple of resources there that might be of help to you too.
Gina?
Yes, go ahead, Chili.
Yeah. So I was originally watching this just to see what came up. I'm a longtime BLS instructor, was a lifeguard. I work with the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Canada, and I also do Canadian Red Cross as well as International Red Cross. And I was just in France, and I know for a fact they would be more than interested to connect with Svetlana, and I could help her with that contact information through Eugenia, if
Sure.
that's okay.
Of course, that would be amazing. I'm happy to connect you offline.
Yeah, and the other thing that I heard too, the fellow that was talking about him and his young son's sporting event, um, I think that just goes back to, I wasn't sure if it was Gina or Sandra who said it, because I'm watching a barber and a hairdresser smoke pot and cigarettes at the same time, and then they just went in and cut somebody's face and hair. And I just thought, wow, this is polar opposites right now, but easily distracted. And I was thinking that all the ideas, like people are asking, does it need to be this or this? It needs to be any or all of those. And maybe someone in the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation could be also considering, how can we put these together in a mosaic type of campaign, rather than just leaving them independent and using them in our own communities. Maybe that could be a project from the citizen group, so that people are knowing that their stuff is going to get used somewhere, even if it's just the idea and gets remade or booted up so that it can link better with the other things.
Oh, for sure. And if I can just jump into one, I'll put in a plug. We recently launched at the Center Cardiac Arrest Foundation. It's called the Heart Champion Program. And so this is where we are empowering people across in their communities with tools and resources to help raise awareness. And so, this is a great example of a tangible activity that raises awareness. And so just kind of thinking about how we can broaden that, and then kind of, continue to, there's lots of different things that Heart Champions are doing. And a lot of the Heart Champions are interested in participating in this contest as an example. But, thinking about, how can we integrate some of, this into community presentations, or if you're doing, an event in your community, we could have videos like on a scrolling screen, so I think, just to your point, that's a great idea, is like how can we leverage these great storytelling resources that are coming from the community? How can we continue to put them out there in the world, and and share them? So I think, point taken, and thank you for bringing that up, Shelley. I think that's a great thing for us to continue to think through how we can cultivate that.
People remembering that it's just like, if you're feeling insecure about producing something, it's not about winning, because every single one of them is a win, right? Yeah. Like you've done something, you've come up with it, whether it gets first, second, third, or honorable mention, it doesn't ultimately matter. It's that it's done and it's now usable in some way, and you guys can help us in our communities figure out how to connect and use them more.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I got to cut out because I have an appointment now. Thanks everybody for contributing.
Thank you. All right. Well, I don't think there's any other questions, but feel welcome to either unmute or type something in the chat if you have a burning last question, as we're kind of getting to the end of our time together. In the meantime, Sandra, did you want to share any closing comments?
Oh, I just want to say that this is a really powerful part of the conference, and everybody in the audience gets to see these. So we're looking forward to your participating, and come to the conference.
Awesome. Thank you. Janet and Hannah, thank you both so much for joining us and sharing your expertise with us. This was great, and I think just really helpful to kind of hear your creative ideas, and and just kind of being able to pick your brain a little bit about some strategies. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And I was just thank you. I was just gonna say, I mean, there's a question that says, how do you make it memorable? And it's like that personal touch is really, people pay attention, especially when you're sharing something personal and impacted, and realizing that sudden cardiac arrest does affect people. And when you put that personal touch on it, I think it really hits home. So I'm very much looking forward to everybody's videos. And like Shelley said, like, everybody's a win. Like, the more awareness we get at it, the more that you share your personal stories, whether it is just images and text, like, it's so important and so needed. And I'm a self-taught person. I look up YouTube videos. Okay, I want to do this editing thing. How do I do it? And I just want to say that, that we're always open to collaborate, whether it's for this thing or something else. That we are very much into that, of how we can, be innovative and think of getting more awareness out on sudden cardiac arrest. So if you guys have even more questions about video stuff or things like that, please reach out at HeartCharged and ask away.
Yeah, we're very happy to also help anybody that's trying to do this important work. So we do have a full edit studio, and we'd be happy to help somebody put together a really nice message.
Thanks, Janet.
Sure.
Thank you so much. That's so wonderful. The spirit of collaboration is strong here. So I'm really excited to see everyone's videos, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions throughout the process. It's I think I have a closing slide here with the QR code so that people can scan it, and this takes you to the landing page. This is where you submit your form after you upload it. So you still have plenty of time. They're due October 20th. But feel welcome to reach out in the meantime if anything comes up. And we will circulate the recording. I know a couple of people asked about that, so we'll get that to you via email, and it will also be sent around on, shared on our social media and websites and everything too. So thank you everybody for coming, and I hope you all have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.